The Liberia National Tourism Act to stimulate economic growth by leveraging the nation's natural attractions and cultural heritage, and an act to establish the National Food Assistance Agency.
Welcome, welcome. This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. The breaking news is that the Senate has concurred with the House in the ratification of the ArcelorMittal deal. Also, new NAFA boss, J. Saro Segbe, has been confirmed by the Senate. So, yeah, those are the breaking news. Let's take our quick announcements before we go over to our guests who are already here. The Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation is pleased to announce the successful replacement of damaged sewer pipes on Benson Street, Central Monrovia. Customers in the area with valid registration will now be reconnected as our technical sales and marketing teams visit the community in the coming days. Property owners on Benson Street and nearby areas who are not yet connected to the sewer network are encouraged to visit our front street office Monday through Friday 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. to complete their registration. LWSC remains committed to providing reliable services and appreciates the cooperation and support of our customers. And this is signed by the management of the company. This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5, as we stated earlier. And we have with us a team from both the Central Bank of Liberia and the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. We have with us Jefferson S. N. Campbell, Director of Research at the CBL. Who is Jefferson Campbell? Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
How is life going?
Life is okay. We're just doing the people's work.
Yeah, I can see that life is okay. It is evidence in your appearance. We also have P. Makura, Deputy Director for Research at the CBL. Welcome.
Thank you.
How's everything going?
Everything is okay. Since we are OK FM, everything is okay.
I don't think it's because you are at OK. You were okay before coming to OK. We also have the Assistant Minister for Economic Policy of the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, Henry D.Z. Nyankwe. Welcome.
Thank you, Julius, for
sorry, let me see. Let me get. Yeah, let's give it a try again.
Thank you, Julius, for having us here.
Okay, good. Okay, so very soon, I believe it should be next week. There's a big program happening here. So that's why we have them here, folks. Let's give you the details. So our own country, Liberia, will host the 2025 and joint ECOWAS, WAMA, WAMI, and YFM statutory meetings here in Monrovia from the 4th of February. We should be, because the first will be Monday, I believe.
Wednesday.
Yeah, when does this month end? Today is the 29th. Tomorrow is the 30th, the 31st. So the first is Sunday. Yeah. So from the 4th will be Wednesday to the 13th, 2026. And these meetings will bring together, among others, the central bank governors, the ministers of finance and development planning, and technical experts from across the West African sub-region and selected regional, continental, and global bodies. They should tell us more about those. So, first of all, we will start with the CBL here. When we say WAMA, WAMI, YFM, what are these?
Thank you, Julius. When you speak of WAMA, you are talking about the West African Monetary Agency. So WAMA, WAMI, and then WAFM, these are agencies or institutes within the West African region, meaning in the ECOWAS region. So when you speak of WAMA, WAMA is an ECOWAS agency, specialized ECOWAS agency that was established in 1996, but became operational, in 1993, but became operational in 1996.
What does
And
it stand for?
West African Monetary Agency. WAMA.
Okay, so
Yes.
WAMA is West African Monetary Agency.
Yes.
Okay, is it the one that the former finance minister heads?
Is the one that he has currently.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Wyman Kamara.
Okay.
Yes, and it is headquartered in Sierra Leone, Freetown. Yes. So, WAMA, the key role of WAMA is to ensure that to coordinate and monitor the ECOWAS Monetary Cooperation Program. And when you speak of the ECOWAS Monetary Cooperation Program, you are largely talking about the macroeconomic convergence criteria that countries need to adhere to or to comply with. So, with regards to the macroeconomic convergence criteria, there are 6. So, we have the primary convergence criteria, which are 4.
When you say convergence criteria, what is that?
So, convergence criteria, these are macroeconomic indicators or variables.
You said the MA macro?
MA, yes, MA. Yeah. These are variables that country has to comply with, because the key objective here is for us to be able to achieve a single currency.
Okay.
So to be able to achieve the single currency, member countries has to be assessed. And then the criteria used to assess member countries are clearly laid out. So there are 4 primary criteria. And the 4 primary criteria are: you have the budget deficit criterion, and the threshold is that budget deficit criterion should be less than or equal to 3% less than 3% of GDP. And when we talk about GDP, it's gross domestic product. You have inflation, average inflation in a given year should be less than or equal to 5%. You have central bank financing, meaning central bank financing government budget, government deficit. So the central bank financing should not be more than 10% of previous year tax revenue. And then you have gross international reserve in terms of months of import cover, meaning how, if you were faced with, say, some pressure, or you were faced with, if the economy was, say, into war or so, how much will your reserve be able to cover in terms of your importation? How many months of coverage can your reserve be able to withstand? So the threshold that is used for all member states is 3 months. So it should be should not be less than 3 months. So it could be 3 or more than 3 months.
So all of those indicators are things you have to be good with to be in good standing at WAMA.
Exactly.
Okay.
And to be good standing with the single currency that is planned to be launched.
We'll go deeper into those. Let's go to Mr. Kura to tell us about WAMI. What is WAMI? WAMI.
Okay, WAMI is the West Africa Monetary Institute, and it's based in Ghana.
Okay.
And to let you know, I just like to give you a very brief background. You know, in West Africa, we have 15 member states. And the 15 member states, you have 8 Francophone countries, that is French speaking, you got 5 Anglophone, and then you have 2 Lusophone, Lusophone means Portuguese-speaking country. Now, the Francophone, 7 of the Francophone countries, with the exception of Guinea, and 1 of the Lusophone country, form a monetary union. After our forefather in ECOWAS signed a treaty with the intention that, yes, we need to form an integration in the West Africa region and to have a single currency. These 7 Francophone countries plus 1 Lusophone country form, monetary union. We call that monetary union West Africa Economic and Monetary Union, WAEMO. In French, you call it UEMOA. Okay, after forming this monetary union, then the Anglophone came together too and said, well, since we are about to form a single currency in the entire West African region, and the Francophone country have already formed a monetary union, we too need to form a monetary union so that at the end of the day, we can now converge as one monetary union, second monetary union coming together. When that decision was taken by the Anglophone countries, they came out with the second monetary zone called West African Monetary Zone, WAMS. So to get an institution to fast track this launch of this monetary zone and the launch of single currency in this Anglophone monetary zone, they formed an institution called WAMI, the West African Monetary Institute. This WAMI, the institution was intended to also oversee the launch of the single currency in the Anglophone countries.
Quite a long and convoluted process.
Yes.
Yeah, from WAEMO to WANS to WAMI.
So now you have WAMI that is performing the function of WAMA in just the 5 Anglophone countries and 1 Anglophone country, Guinea, which are to them to make 6 member states. Yeah, Guinea is Francophone, but Guinea joined the 5 Anglophone member states to form this West African Monetary Zone. So, and this West African Monetary Zone form an institution, WAMI, to fast track the launch of the single currency in this West African Monetary Zone. Let me just conclude quickly. So, to do that, you need to train, economists in member states. You need to train member states to be able to launch the single currency in the Anglophone country. So they came out with this West African Institute for Financial and Economic Management, WIFEN. What?
He will take on WIFEN.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Okay, that's good. So that's how WAMI was established to fast track the launch of the single currency in the Anglophone and Guinea. But in 2014, the process of launching a single currency in the Anglophone country was aborted, was abandoned. Thank you.
Okay, so right now it is the entire sub-region that wants the single currency, right?
Exactly.
So before I go to WIFEN, so that we don't become overly confused, what's the difference between WAMA and WAMI? One of you can take it on, because it is almost like they are the same or something.
When you talk about WAMA, like my colleague,
West Africa Monetary Agency. Then West Africa Monetary Institute. Okay.
So like my colleague said, WAMA is an ECOWAS specialized agency that is responsible before the withdrawal of the 3 Sahel countries. That means Burkina Faso, Niger, and Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. Before the withdrawal of the 3 countries, were 15 countries. So WAMA was established to be able to coordinate the ECOWAS, like I said, the ECOWAS Monetary Cooperation Program, and prepare the way for the launch of the single currency. So it's an agency of WAMA, but it's an agency that is being supervised by the central bank governors.
Which one? The WAMI?
WAMA.
Okay, wow.
WAMA,
Okay.
is supervised by the central bank governors. There are 8 central banks in West Africa. So the 8 central banks in West Africa are
But how we get all those countries and only 8 central banks?
because he talked about a currency union that is already existing in West Africa.
The ones
the
that use the
UOMOA, that uses the CFA franc.
Okay.
So there are 8.
Oh, okay.
So those 8 countries. Then Nigeria has a central bank. Ghana has a central bank. Guinea has a central bank. Cape Verde has a central bank. Sierra Leone has a central bank. The Gambia has a central. So you got about a total of 8 central banks.
So
But the case of WAMI is an institute, like he rightly said, that was established by mainly the Anglophone countries in West Africa. Then you can also add, Guinea. They established it, and it's like the second monetary zone. And the key reason for doing that is to prepare countries to get ready for the single currency. Remember, the single currency had been postponed a number of times. But when it was established in December 2000, began operational in 2001, the purpose was to prepare, these countries to be able to move to the currency union along with the existing currency union that already exists in West Africa, which is the WEMU. He talked about the West Africa Economic and Monetary Union, or in French, UOMOA.
Okay.
so to just
So is the WAMI is a subset of WAMA?
no. So that's why I want to just give that distinction clearly before you can go to another. So WAMA is for the 15 member states, which is now reduced to 12 because Mali,
Guinea,
okay,
Mali,
exactly, Mali, Burkina
seceded
Faso, and they have left. So WAMI is for 6 countries. So just understand it like that. The 5 English-speaking countries and Guinea. WAMI is responsible to ensure that it beef up the integration effort in these 6 member states.
But then it is like it falls under WAMA, doesn't it?
So you can say
And so it is.
No,
it
it's
is-
not- it's
it
not-
is- It's stand alone.
yes.
Yeah, WAMI is in the 8 countries that we talk about, right? The UOMOA group. They have an existing monetary union. So those 8 countries.
No, I got that point. I
Listen,
just I thought
I'm
they
coming.
were
I'm
kind
coming.
of functioning.
They
under
have a
WAMA, but
commission.
if-
Those 8 countries have a commission called the UOMOA Commission. Now, when it comes to the other remaining countries,
They have
we don't have a commission.
Okay.
So WAMI is playing the role like a commission. It's not a commission. We have the authorities, and in this case, I'm talking about the presidents. The president have not, established WAMI or has not classified the status of WAMI as being a commission. So WAMI is playing that kind of role, so that at least there is a group of people who will be there to speak on behalf of this other bloc.
Okay. Perfect. Let's come to WAFEM. WARFEM. What is it, sir?
Okay, so with what Makuli has explained, with all the WAMI, and there's a need for capacity building. Then WAFEM was being introduced. WAFEM is the West Africa Institute for Financial and Economic Management. So it's been introduced to offer capacity building, training in various areas. It could be macroeconomic issues, it could be monetary issue, currency forecasting. I mean, I'm very sure every one of us here have gotten some WAFEM training. You have
Where is the headquarters?
So WAFEM is headquartered in Nigeria.
Okay.
So we to make this thing happen, you realize there's a capacity gap. So then the head of state told why to say we need an institute that will offer that capacity to make us much more stronger to achieving all of the objectives that we're having for both the WAMI, and other institutions. So given that, WAFEM was being introduced, and then WAFN is offering these capacity along the line. So at times they will even make report on courses they offer during the year, countries that benefited, and how we move on with them. We receive these training over the years, over time. We are having these various WAFN training ongoing to strengthen the capacity of the various central banks and finance ministries within member states to beef up our.
Yeah, I see why sometimes you're traveling to Nigeria, you see some finance ministry or central bank people going there for 1 or 2 weeks. Those kinds of things. Do we have some, apart from the former finance minister who is at WAMA, do we have some Liberians working in those?
Yeah, sure. We have Liberians seconded at the level of WAMI, WAMA, even WAFM. Okay. Liberians are there. And what WAFM would do, they wouldn't do all the trainings in Nigeria alone. They will even come to Liberia at time and offer trainings here, and they bring people from other countries.
Which of the institutes train those people? I want to say finance ministry that sponsored some counter, I think, officials to go for some kind of training.
Yeah, I think it was some digitalization or something training. Yeah. And they may have gone to Wi-Fi. I mean, I have much detail on that because I'm not in that department.
Okay.
But I'm very sure
I know. I can remember that we spoke.
And they also scout experienced professionals for within the member states to go and offer training. I know our senior director has been offering training sometimes with Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I see why he's coming across like a teacher. Okay. So now that we have a background understanding of these three institutions, who was telling us about these statutory meetings? What are they about? This meeting that's coming to Liberia. What is it? What is the background? What is it?
Okay, so the issue about the statutory meeting is rotational.
Okay.
And it is Liberian term to host a meeting. I know at one point in time we had a virtual meeting in 2022, which we have hosted a meeting at that time. It been happening before. We also hosted in 2017. And then we are hosting at this time. So it's a rotational meeting. So you will have a technical meeting that will take place from the 4th of February to the 11th. You have the audit committee, or you have insurance committee, and you have the technical committee that will meet to have deliberations. And interestingly, then on the 12th, you have the committee of governors that will meet, the various central bank governors. And then on the 13th, you have the Convergence Council meeting.
That's like 10 days you will be spending here. Okay.
And that meeting will be with both the central bank governor and the finance minister. Now, this is how it works. All of these indicators that Dr. Campbell talked about, they will have to be a sense. You have a meeting, deliberation, presentation be made. We have to look at them to see how the member states are performing, and then the technical committee will be able to come up with some report and then you will report to the committee of governors. Committee of governors will deliberate, and then they also elevate that discussion to the Convergence Council. Convergence Council will deliberate and then move on to the authority or head of states. That meeting will happen at some point in time, or they can meet in any one of the member states. They now will come up with decisions that become binding within the region. So this is how the meeting has been structured. The meeting will be held at 3 different locations. The central bank head office, that we all know, Beda Casa. Those 2 locations will host the technical meetings. But for the Convergence Council and out of the Committee of Governors meeting that will happen on the 12th and 13th, we have Hamilton Hotel. Initially, we are planning meetings for Ministerial Complex, but given the traffic congestion and heavy equipment, we do not want to expose central bank governor and finance minister and other technicians within that period, and to not delay the meeting happening, because they too are busy in our country. They want to have the meetings and go back home. So to have a better environment for this meeting, we have also make arrangement at the Farmington Hotel, and the arrangement are well on course. And I think we are set for the meeting.
Okay.
So, additionally, if I may add, the meetings, like the minister said, occur twice a year. So we have what we call the end year meeting and we'll have what we call the mid-year meeting. So the meeting that is about to take place here in Liberia is the end-year meeting.
Okay, because I saw 2025 there.
Yes, is meaning the 2025. But this meeting is actually we are going to assess the performance, member states' performance based on the first half of 2025. That is at end June.
Yeah.
So this assessment is not going to take into consideration the entire year. Although intermittently during the discussion there will be some projection for the year that may be discussed, but the meeting itself is going to focus on performance for the first 6 months in 2025. And during the mid-year meeting, it will be for the last half of 2025, which is expected to take place between July and August, somewhere there. So just to make that point, yeah.
Thank you.
At this time, and this is for you, Mr. Kura, Deputy Director for Research, CBL, this period, this time that we are in now, what is the significance of this statutory meeting, especially as it's coming to Liberia? How is it important?
Okay. As the minister said, the meeting is rotational. It's rotational, which means that every member state in the sub-region will have the opportunity to have the meeting. But the significance of the current meeting now, ECOWAS is planning to launch the single currency in 2027. So this meeting, the main focus and issue that will be discussed will focus on how member states are prepared to accede to the single currency in 2027. So, but the question that may be asked is that the launch of the single currency has been postponed 5 times in the past. Why are you sure that you want to launch the currency in 2027? But I just told you that ECOWAS was planning so that the Anglophone and the Francophone will have two different monetary unions to come together to form the ECOWAS monetary union. But because right now we abandon that process, so what is happening now is that we are going by the gradual approach, what ECOWAS call the gradual approach. The gradual approach is that member states that will be qualified, that will be assessed and deemed qualified, will first form the monetary union. Those countries that will not be qualified will then join later on as they become qualified. So the essence, to answer your question, the essence of this meeting is to focus discussion on the launch of the single currency in 2027.
Wow, we will delve deeper into the single currency thing, but Director Campbell, like he said, the issue of the single currency. What are other issues that we expect to dominate these meetings?
So one of the key, like he said, he pointed the key thing out. Are we ready for the launch of the single currency in 2027? That is the responsibility of the authorities of heads of state to be able to make that determination. But that determination will be supposed to be informed by the performance of member states, meaning performance based on the primary convergence criteria, those 4 primary convergence criteria. And as you can see, because what happened, like my colleague talked about the postponements of the single currency, the launch of the single currency. So in 2020, for example, in 2014, when it was extended to 2020, and 2020 was even referred to as irreversible. But then what happened in 2020? We're faced with COVID-19. So everything was like, almost everything shuttered. So as a result, in 2021, we could not even hold an in-person meeting. 2022, the same. So the authorities of heads of state took a decision and said, well, they were waiving 2020 member states complying, 2020, 2021. and then up to 2023, they were waiving that one. But from 2024 to 2026, they refer to it as the stability phase. And what that means is that member countries that desire to join the currency union in 2027 had to meet the four primary convergence criteria on a consistent basis.
We'll go deeper into that. Let's know all the things around the meetings itself. Yeah. When do we expect the guests to be here, and who are supposed to be there from our end here, that is in Liberia, and do they know that it's supposed to be there?
So,
yeah.
Okay, so with that, for the Convergence Council that will happen on the 13th, we have written the president or his destiny will attend the meeting and make remarks. The other thing you want to know is that
you can please come closer to the microphone.
The finance minister and minister of Liberia will be taking over the chairmanship of the Convergence Council meetings from civilian. Similarly, the central bank governor of Liberia will take over the chairmanship of the Committee of Governors.
Okay.
Likewise, a Liberian will be designated by the Ministry of Finance, a technician, to preside all the technical sections, will take over the chairmanship from civilian of the technical committee meetings. Okay. And that will continue until Liberia can turn over to the next country that will be hosting at some point in time. So that's how it'll be structured. We invite other stakeholders that will be there. You have other international organizations that will be around as observers, the AFDB, World Bank. They will also be there to serve as observers.
Yeah, so again, from the Liberian endpoint, all those are supposed to be there know that they're supposed to be there.
We have delegates currently registering from other countries, even including Liberian delegation. So we ourselves have to go on a platform to register, to be captured.
Yeah, because I'm asking before people listen. I say, oh, but I'm a financial person, so
no, you have to be defined. You have to be coming.
So the delegates are actually defined.
Yeah.
So for the technical meetings, for typical example, the technical meetings are mainly for staff, relevant staff in Ministry of Finance and the Central Bank of Liberia. So you will have few other staff that may come from other institutions like the Statistics House, like the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and then the the National Port Authority, and all of it, but they will be observer. So they will not play they will not be a full or a participant that will contribute. No, they will only play an observer status. So, and besides that, at the level, and then the College of Supervisors. The College of Supervisors, and when we talk about College of Supervisors, we are talking about the departments, supervision department in each of the central banks in West Africa. They will also have a technical meeting. They are obliged to also submit to the Committee of Governors. So they will also be meeting. So there will be different meetings going on. The College of Insurance will also be meeting.
Okay.
Like he talked about the audit. So everyone will be represented, but will be represented at the various technical levels. And then the outcome from these technical meetings, like Minister Nyakwe said, will now be escalated to the Committee of Governors.
Okay. Yeah. So how will these meetings and everything that will happen impact the macroeconomic variables of the region? Anyone can take that.
Okay. So thank you. These meetings, as you heard earlier, are intended to assess member states' performance. And their performance will involve how do you perform on your inflation, how you perform on your budget deficit, how big is your budget deficit, what is your input cover in terms of your reserve, and your whether you are giving credit to government, which is supposed to be at a particular threshold. When this meeting assess your performance and they see you in non-compliance, as non-compliant member state, what will then happen is that the meeting will proffer a macroeconomic policy recommendation that you will be asked to follow in order to improve your performance. So what I'm trying to say is that at the end of the meeting, there will be adoptions of policy document that will help to condition member states' performance in terms of how they perform, how they go about, performing on their macroeconomic, variable. So that recommendation will shape your performance and your macroeconomic variable in the near future.
Additionally, there will be,
as you do the additionally, we always like to ask this question: what is the benefit for Liberia?
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. There will be knowledge sharing. For example, he just made mention of the macroeconomic variables. So, like for example, if Liberia is faced with the problem of achieving the criterion on international reserve, amount of input cover, you see that our gross reserve has been rising significantly, but then our inputs has also been rising significantly, which is outweighing the significant growth we are seeing in our reserve. So there are other countries that are import dependent like us. In that meeting, we can be able to learn from, but then some of them has succeeded despite them being import dependent. We can be in a position now to learn from them. What did they do that helped them despite the fact they are import dependent, but they were able to achieve that particular criterion. So there will be knowledge sharing, even in the case of Liberia.
Okay.
So
in terms of our development agenda too, and all of that.
So what this meeting is, the benefit this meeting is expected to accrue to Liberia is this. For example, you got diplomatic visibility and regional influence.
Yes.
When this kind of high-level meeting are held in your country, it gives you visibility in the region and even in the world. Besides, there are financial benefits that accrue to member states as the result of this meeting. The hotels, people will be coming to the hotel will be gaining revenue. Transport services will also will benefit. And other economic agents in the economy will benefit as a result of this meeting. So
just to give some of the other issues we talk about, all of these indicators, whether primary or secondary, and like we said, knowledge sharing. The Liberia has been good at the public debt to GDP ratio at a percent of GDP. The reason is just simple. In our own PFM regime, we are looking at 0% of GDP. Debt to GDP ratio should be at 60 maximum. Now the region is having a target of 70%. So obviously, once we obey our own law to be within the framework of 60, we will obviously be within the framework of 70%. So if somebody wants to ask, why is Liberia always achieving on this? Then we can share to say, look, in our own PFM regime, we are not targeting 70% as a maximum. We are targeting 60% as a maximum. So once we live within our framework, we always achieve on that. So if a particular country is achieving on inflation persistently, then we want to learn from you, what are you doing within your macroeconomic environment? What policy measure are you employing? We are all in the same region and you are achieving on this. Can we borrow from you? So that's where Dr. Cry is coming to say there'll be some policy decision or recommendation from the General Committee that will be elevated at the level of the committee of governors. They too will look at them and deliberate on the issues. Then they elevate that, and when you go through those stages, it becomes some empirical fights that they can now use to say, okay, I think as a region, we can go this route.
And so that segues us into the conversation about the push towards regional integration. How does this?
Yeah, but one
help
thing
that,
you want to know,
help
Julius,
it
is that
as well.
ECOWAS has situated ourselves as one of the best model for regional integration. Today we are using one passport. You don't need visa to go to Ghana or to go to Sierra Leone. Once you are, that good character, you're not a criminal. You can walk even to the border and show your ID. Normally when I go to Ghana, I love to just walk around the border. Sometimes go to Guinea. Interact with people and come back. So that alone is an achievement. Now, if we succeed on the issue of the single currency, you can live in like, because we have comparative advantages in all of these countries. So if Liberia is good at producing plantain, for example, yam, I can leave from Guinea or Ghana and come back here and go back. The issue of exchange rate loss will be solved. Because if you are going to Nigeria to transact, you have to get Liberian dollars or maybe you convert that to USD, go to Nigeria, find Naira before you go on the market to buy. That exchange rate complexity will not exist. It will have a single currency regime. Now, that will, in the entire region, those comparative advantages will continue to benefit every one of us. So technically, in the long run, we're moving to the place where we can somehow be at the same level, and then we can. Then the other thing you want to do, the volume of trade that may occur within our region may give more strength to our currency, for which it become more internationally accepted and valuable in a way that it brings dividends to us.
Okay. Now, let us talk a bit, because I have to take a few calls about the single currency thing for the sub-region. Is it really going to happen?
Well, I know when we're discussing the issue of one passport, there was some issue that this may not happen and happen. So, this is not impossible. It happened in other jurisdictions.
One of the countries that people think will be a difficult one is Liberia, because of our use of the US dollar and how we're so used to it, and having another currency, all those kinds of factors. Are we one of the problem children in this whole thing?
You are right. That's why even one of the criteria that is only unique to Liberia is for us to adopt a single currency, meaning to abandon the use of US dollar. But that has to be done gradually. And Liberia is making significant...
Every time we say gradually.
It has to be because research have shown that countries that did force de-dollarization sometimes even go back to full dollarization because of the macroeconomic instability.
Sure.
So you don't want to see yourself going into that. You see your friend try to do something, did something that you're trying to do, and you saw them faced with significant macroeconomic imbalances. You don't want to go into that. So we are, and then if you look at what is going on, look at taxes being paid in any currency of your choice. We are encouraging the wider use of Liberian dollar. In fact, in terms of salary payments, gradually the ratio is increasing.
So what will happen at the end of this, of these deliberations that you people will be holding? Do we expect something like a resolution? And give us an idea how the single currency thing is going to be like. Is it like one money that all the countries are using so that we don't use our own Liberian dollar, or what? So that all of us just use that one currency within the sub-region?
So if you come back on this, like I want to use the passport situation. So in the past, we all using our own passport. When we still have on the passport Liberia, you still have on the passport Ghana, but it carries
On the top you have ECOWAS.
ECOWAS.
Okay.
So the issue of the currency, you only have on the currency Liberia and Ghana. That would be, let me make that clear first. So you wouldn't have it that way. But like Dr. Campbell said, we are making progress. Because if you just, let's say today we just say, we take oil Liberian out of the market. If the exchange rate, I mean, now you have control what's on issues. So you want to be putting in policy measures and moving gradually. We're paying vendors sometimes in Liberian dollars, half in Liberian dollars and half in USD. Salary before we're paying 80-20, 80% USD and 20% in Liberian dollars. Now we have moved to 30%. Then you review the macroeconomic environment. You look at exchange rate issue. You look at that pass-through effect on inflation. You analyze all of these ones, and you move on again and say, okay, maybe we can move from 30% go to 35%. Because if you don't do it like that, there will be a problem. There will be a problem. I don't care how you want to cure it so that it's on you. You're not going to find a medicine that will just brand in and cure it just within that moment. You have to be treating it gradually, and then we heal, then you can move on.
Okay, that's just a few calls, and then we'll come back to you. A very high-level technical discourse here. Big meetings coming up in Liberia. 777-995-555-995-995. Just few calls. Few. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Good evening, Julius.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Julius, for having me on the platform. CRC Imana and Super Junior for Internet Diplomat throughout the country. Julius, I appreciate the hardcore conversation coming from these Liberian brothers who are pushing the ECOWAS agenda. I don't know if it's really going to work to have one currency in the ECOWAS. This is an idea that past officials and even past leaders of Africa have been pushing for, And I pray that it works. And we pray that the engineers behind these things will work together and see how they can make it become fruitful, because it's going to benefit us economically. Thank you for your 4 minutes time.
Thanks so kindly as well. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Hello, Julius.
Yes, go ahead.
My name is Marilyn, coming from the Ministry of Transport. I heard your guest talked about insurance. Can they elaborate on what kind of insurance? You got the Ministry of Transport will deal with the third-party liability. Is that part of it, or what kind of insurance are they talking about that will be included in this meeting?
Thanks so kindly. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Good evening, Julius.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. This is Zach F. Dembo, and I call from Upper Cardwell.
Go ahead.
Julius, let me commend your guests for their deliberation. But when you check around the region, Julius, you notice that there are some countries around us whose currency does not have value as compared to other West African countries. So what benefit will Liberia get in terms of the value that our money has, like, for example, over Sierra Leone currency? Thank you, Julius.
Hello?
Hello?
But if everybody using the same money and then we have the same value now, is that Bembo? You gone? Okay.
Hello?
Yes, hello, welcome. Go
My
ahead.
name is Anthony. Yeah. What I want to know is that, we all don't have the same currency, and when it comes to inflation, some of the currency across the West Africa is so bad off. If you do a single currency, how are you going to bring all of us together so that we reach that point where everyone will be satisfied? Thank you.
Okay, thanks so kindly. Welcome. Let's hear you. Hello. I don't know why I'm not hearing you on this one. So let's just leave it there. Let me see. Hello?
Hello, Julius. Can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead now.
Okay, my name is Anthony Gay. I'm calling from the United States. Fascinating topic.
Mm-hmm.
The Irish Liberian who does not have the U.S. dollar, who is a regular vendor that sells in the Liberian dollar, are at a disadvantage in Liberia whenever they have to purchase something that is in the U.S. dollar. Most often, for instance, if the person has saved up that money and they want to buy a motorbike, if that motorbike is $950 US, in order to purchase that $950 US, that person is going to be spending 1,100 Liberian dollar, 1,100 in the equivalent of the Liberian dollar to purchase that motorbike, because they have to purchase the rate at the highest rate. How can we mitigate this thing before we even talk about one currency in West Africa?
Okay, thanks so kindly. Let's take this one. This may be the second to last. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Thank you very much, Julius. This is Pendaris Allison, and I want to thank your guests there in the studio for the explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Albeit, Currencies, to a larger extent, are controlled by institutions in terms of
Can you move away? Just call your radio off.
Yeah, so currencies, have the control, institutions in terms of its economic exchange and engagement with other entities. Where in the case we'll be using one and with different countries, how would the centralized system, has it been decided or how would it move? Because these different countries come with different strength of economies and the standards and the weight of their own currency. Now that we are going to a uniform one, I'm thinking about the centralized mechanism that's going to control them all.
Okay. Thanks. So kindly we come back to them because of time. We already out and the news team will be briefing down my neck. Who's answering any question? Yeah. Who?
I'll take the last one. Since my own friend brought up Pendar Allison, and he raised a genuine concern because even in our own country, we have the central bank of Liberia that will have to manage our monetary situation. So, in the same vein, there will have to be a bank within a region that will be able to manage our currency and other monetary issues. So, just to respond to that.
Would that subjugate our central bank? Will it become nominal?
Our central bank will actually be, at that time, will be a national bank. Will be a local bank. If you take into consideration the currency union that we already have in West Africa, the Yomoa area, I'm talking about the Common Central Bank, BCAO, the Central Bank of West African States. There are branches in member states in 8 countries. Okay. So it's like if we move to the currency union, and Liberia join the currency union. So since the proposed central bank will be called the Central Bank of West Africa, it means that Liberia, the Central Bank of West Africa branch will be in Liberia. So obviously, it will be like our current central bank now will become, a branch of the Central Bank of West Africa. Yeah. So that's how it's going to operate.
Yeah. So Julius, the monetary union West Africa is trying to establish is modeled after the European Union. And in Europe, you got the ECB, the European Central Bank, and other member states have their national bank. Okay. That is the same model we're trying to establish in the sub-region. And somebody asked how to, eliminate the exchange rate markup, meaning when you get Liberian dollar, you want to convert to US dollar, you already pay higher. In the entire global community, people who do exchange rate business engage in what you call arbitrage. Arbitrage is buying cheap and selling expensive. So people in Liberia are no exception. What happens is that somebody want to enter into exchange rate business today, want to make money. So when you carry US dollar, they even devalue your US dollar. When you carry Liberian dollar, they carry the Liberian dollar up. But what I want to say is that the central bank always publish the daily exchange rate on the central bank website. So I think it would be good for all of us if we can visit the central bank website often to ensure that when you go to buy and somebody is trying to cheat you, you say, no. This is not the exchange rate. The exchange rate that is quoted by central bank is this. Because some of these guys take advantage of the fact that, you are not knowledgeable about the publication of exchange rate on the central bank website. So they try to take advantage of that. So it's better for us to always, visit the central bank website and see what are the exchange rates that are published there daily.
So okay. One of the callers had a question on will it work? Whether the single currency that we are talking about will work one day. I would say yes, because the thing here is we have been faced with macroeconomic imbalances. So the heads of state wants to ensure that member countries are ready before we move into the currency union. Even the euro area that today has the euro, there too, it took long time. It did not happen overnight.
Okay.
So we just have to work to ensure that. Somebody asked a question on insurance. We are talking about there is a meeting for insurance regulators that's supposed to take place here. So we're not talking about individual insurance companies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks so kindly for being here, and we wish you all of the best.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's how we go. My name is Julius J. Tomorrow, Chokon will be here. Up next is the news.